Hi, I'm Graham. Welcome back to Man vs Film. This is going to be a Blu-ray review for Maniac, one of the movies from Indicator's Horror Fear Warning Volume 1 set. This is number 54 in the Indicator series, and this is a movie that I have never seen before. The other ones that I checked out was The Gorgon and The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, which are very stereotypical horror movies. This one, I'm not really too sure that it fits into the horror genre. It's more of a thriller, and you have this very strange story. So Maniac starts off with this guy watching a school bus pull up. This girl gets out, he offers her a lift home, and then he attacks her. But one of the boys that was on the bus sees this and goes and gets her father, and he comes back, kidnaps the guy, and just brutally murders him, and gets sent to an asylum for doing such. And this opening scene feels very much like a precursor to the type of things you would have got in Nightmare on Elm Street, you know, where they burn Freddy. This feels like the start of a supernatural killer. It never goes that way, but it feels very much like that. Then we jump a number of years, and we have Jeff, this American who's arrived in this French town with a girl. They've obviously fallen out. The girl leaves him. He's there alone, and he starts to talk to Eve, the young barmaid, and he's just kind of chit-chatting, drinking, smoking, doing nothing in particular, enjoying the weather, and decides that he has nothing else to do. He's just going to hole up here for a little while and just see what's happening. He's a painter by trade, and he just wants to kind of work his way through life. He had a great opportunity with the girl he was with. She was rich. She had a lot of gadgets, money, cash, whatever he needed, and he decided that wasn't for him. He wanted something a little bit more. We're also introduced to several other characters. Most notably is Annette, which is the stepmom of Eve. She is the one that owns this bar, and she is also married to the man that was sent to the asylum. Eve was the girl that was attacked, and she is a little bit kind of fragile of a person, and Annette at the start, it feels as if she's kind of looking out for her. But also there is a kind of love triangle forming here, because you have Jeff at the centre of it, who seems to have a flirtatious attitude towards Eve, and who talks to Annette but doesn't really have that kind of similar attitude there. But being a little bit wilier and world-wise, Annette manages to get her claws into Jeff, you know, and that makes Eve feel kind of left out. And so far, I'm wondering where the horror is in this movie, you know, or where the thrills are going to be. It turns out to be a sort of love triangle romance for a good chunk of the movie, but it's kind of interesting because it's nice locales, it's nicely shot, and I kind of liked the characters and the dynamics between them all. You know, I kind of knew that there was something a little bit odd about Annette, and I kind of liked Eve, and I was hoping Jeff would go that way, but then there's the age difference, and yeah, I was kind of enjoying the movie, but unsure of where it was going to go. So because Annette is now hooked up with Jeff, she decides to go and tell her husband that, you know, their relationship's over, they're done, he's going to move on, and she is definitely moving on with Jeff, and he agrees if they'll do one thing, and that's help him escape. So Jeff gets brought into this help out to get rid of her husband, and that's where things turn into a very mysterious murder mystery. You know, the husband escapes, they get him out of the country, and they find that there's a dead body in the boot of the car, and they're trying to get rid of it. The paranoia, the suspense starts to get tense as it starts to play out. You're never quite sure who's playing who can be trusted and who can't. And that's where it really ramps up. So what you have is a movie that spends the bulk of its 90-minute running time centred on these three characters, creating characters, their relationships, how they all interlock to each other, and who has been wronged or who feels as if they've been wronged. And then when we get to the final half hour, it starts to ramp up that suspense and tension, and because you know the characters and the situation you're in, it becomes a more rewarding movie. But it could have been so easily one that you could turn off. You need to kind of push yourself to get through it. That's one of the faults. It doesn't drag ever so slight, and it doesn't seem to have a direction. When it gets to the last half hour, it makes everything a little bit more clearer and a lot more enjoyable, but it's getting through that initial start of the movie. like I said, I love the presentation here. It looks pristine. It's black and white, but it's stunning in its cinematography, and its tale is something that is familiar, but I genuinely enjoyed. And I like the way it was set up. It kind of becomes a little bit playful and reminded me of several movies, that all the ones that have came after this, and it could have been something that was actually an influence to a lot of these movies. This is another movie from this box set that I've really enjoyed. I haven't come across an Indicator movie yet that I haven't enjoyed, which is quite happy about that. I've picked up most of them, still got a lot to watch. The Hammer box sets are terrific. There's a slew of extras again on this disc, including a booklet inside it and all the other things, but I'll get to them eventually. The movie is the main thing for me, and it's another one that I really did rather enjoy. I think though, if I was rating all three of the movies that I've watched out of this box set so far, it would be The Gorgon, Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, and probably Maniac. I've still got Fanatic to go, and I'm going to check that out pretty soon as well. I'd love to know your thoughts on the movie if you've seen this. I know already, speaking to some people, they struggled to get through the sort of start of the movie. But for me, I think it's definitely something you should push yourself to do. It's another really good film, one that I'm happy to have in my collection, and I would love to know your opinion on it. So let me know in the comment box below, and I'll see you next time on Man vs Film.